John, I can see you, John. That is Spencer. Okay. That's just Mr. Steve, can you call Jude?
I'll send him a message.
No. For one or two more presenters and we're done.
Oh,
Yeah, we're fine. You said
English people medicines.
yes.
It's actually sensitive enough to capture the voice.
That's fine.
You just have to be audible.
That's fine.
Elevated.
Abi?
Because of time.
Yes, that's
If
fine.
they miss you, they come late, is their problem. They should
Yeah.
So.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so happy to have everyone here. And I want to officially welcome all of us to this panel titled African Dance Virality, Technology and Popular Culture. I am a lecturer here, University of Lagos, from the Department of Theatre Arts. And I know that it's taken a whole lot of things, effort and all that for you to be here. I want to welcome you. And I want to beg that I think it's better for us to be together. Is it possible for us to come together? Because I want us to have a very healthy conversation here. You are fantastic, Nessa. Please come forward. I want us to have this, like this family panel, okay? It's not like the regular kind of panel. You're allowed to talk and ask questions immediately after the presenter stops. Let's have everybody together. Fantastic. It appears that our first presenter is not available. He already told me that he'll be presenting online, but he is yet to connect. So while we wait for him, I think I should go into talking about introducing the second presenter. I'd like to introduce us so that we know that we have some very key people around us presenting. Okay, I would like to introduce Dr. Steve James from the University of Lafayette. Mr. Steve James is a fellow of the Guild of Nigerian Dancers, F-GOND, and a fellow of Theatre Arts, F-Theatre, with over 40 years experience. A graduate of the Department of Creative Arts, University of Lagos, UNILAG, and the CEO, Artistic Director of Ivory Ambassadors Dance Company, Lagos and Lafayette branches. He is an academic with over 15 academic publications and the former head of Department, Theatre and Media Studies, Federal University of Lafayette. Steve James has a PhD in Theatre Art from the University of Lafayette. Distinguished panelist, he will be talking to us on the paper titled Codifying Modes, the Depth of Identification, Technicalities, Originality, and the Documentation in African Dance. And he has 15 minutes. Welcome, Mr. Steve James, to the panel.
Thank you very much.
Let us encourage one another, please. Thank you.
My name is Steve James from Federal University in Lafayette, the Federal University of Lafayette. The title of my paper this afternoon, like the chairman rightly said, is Codifying Modes, Depth of Identification and Technicalities, Originality, and Documentation in African dance. First, I would say introduction. Dance has been an integral part of human beings. Man dance from birth to death. Whereas Africans believe that we dance for everything. That's why they say dance is mother of all arts. Because I will try as much as possible to be very, very simple about some definition. Origin of dance. I'll place this in three ways: the ritual contest, the biblical, and the biological. Biological is about the intercourse between a man and a woman. Then it is believed. The doctor, by the research says, by the man is one of those thousands of religions, one made me and you. That means there was a movement. What is dance? Dance is about systematical movement of a body to time and space. The womb becomes the space, the movement becomes movement, and then you see that that's how it comes. That means man has been dancing before he was even created. They will not go into the biblical. The Bible makes us believe that angels dance in heaven. Before me and you, angel dance. That means dance has been before me. That's why they say man is as old as dance. They will not say ritual. Ritual means that everything we do is ritualistic. And it's dance. What is dance? Movement, combination of steps make movement. Combination of movement make dance. That means if you don't move, you cannot dance. Everybody can dance, but not everybody is a professional dancer. Ritual. When I say ritual, our forefathers then, when they realized that if anything happened at all, they say, I'm a Yoruba man, I'll go and carry him. If I'm not Wonder man, I'll go and carry him. And I show the thunder, I don't even know where you come from. All those things are movement that now generated into dances that we dance today. And we have different dances. But I'll go into the Bata as a young. It has its origin from the Shango. But these days, because of viral, the dances are now going out because we don't have documentation on those dances, the origin, the technicality. Every dance has its own technicality, has its own essence, has its own beauty. But because of social media, people are now taking Bata out or Dundu out of this part of the continent to another continent, adulterated. Dundu, you cannot play Dundu if you are not an initiate of Dundu origin. That means if you are not Ayan, you cannot play Dundu as you can play Dundu. Dundu talks. Dundu means talking drum of the Yorubas. And it has the technicality of throwing that Dundu and it speaks. That's why they say, that means a dead goat's skin that speaks like human. And now, because people are now trying as much as possible to make money, they not take the dundu and begin to play it anyhow. And whatever they hear over there, they see it as original. The technicality has gone. The essence of the dundu is gone because dundu is a talking drum. And if you don't even understand the language, the dialect. You cannot even understand what the Dundu is saying. Talk less that you want to play the Dundu. And over time, these things have been taken out. It's not only Dundu, even most of our dances has been eroded by civilization, has been eroded by modernization, eroded by contemporaneity. In the name of contemporary, we want to do something to meet the standard that has been by Western. What is the standard? We have our own standard. If you see somebody who's dancing bata, you know how to do the bata, the marakajapa, the gamu, the war, and everything. Everything goes in beats. But these days, sometimes when it comes to contemporary, bata now becomes what people do, rush. And unfortunately, it is the same people who have the opportunity to travel abroad, to go and teach these dances abroad. And because we don't have, most of these dances are not having documentation, the originality, the technicality, and the essence of those dances are lost. Over there, I have an example. There was a director somewhere, I don't want to mention the place, who was supposed to give a drummer a slot to go and teach Dundu in US. Because of BTA, because of money that is involved, the director is an Igbo person. Going to teach, he doesn't even speak Yoruba. Going abroad to teach Dundu. When he gets to that place and begin to play the Dundu and begin to pull those things, the people who he's teaching will be looking at it as it's original. So far the thing is sounding. And that's what they will take as original Dundu. By the time you now go there as the originator or somebody who knows about, you now look as if that is fake. Over time, most of our dances have gone there out like that, viral, to the extent that you begin to look at it. What are they doing? But for me as a person, I want to suggest that everybody that has been in dance, we should go back and try as much as possible to look for the origin of dances that we are doing. Then look at the composition, look at the technicality in it, so that we begin to document them for people to know the right thing to do and not to do what is not. Sometimes I would say dances leave, when the dances leave their original locale, it turns to another thing. Because if you look at Benue's dance, the chief dance, it's a slow dance, but when it gets to Lagos, it's a fast one because Lagos is fast. If you dance, chief dance here slow, they'll just begin to at you. If you look at Maliki is slow. That's why till now, in NAFES, National Festival, they don't do competition of dance anymore because everybody has his own culture. My dance might be slow, and that's my culture. Your dance might be fast. That's your culture. So they cannot, there's no basis for competition in that area. So they're not turning to, let us give them a concept to go and work on, and we can now embed it in dance. You understand me? Because we thought that everybody has his own culture. You cannot say because your own. And moreover, when you talk about costume of those culture, see has black and white. If you look, compare it with a combi that is flash, or somebody who has ashoke, colorful ashoke. You cannot, there's no comparison. So all these things, even now, people don't even use ashoke anymore. Okay, it's not better. But over there, they just use anything. That's why it's better. And the drumming now is now the Badagry drum that they use for everything. So the originality and the quality of all these dances have been lost. So we don't even have you can't say this is what is origin of all these dances, or which is the original of these dances. So I applaud this paper now suggests that the association in dance, the ASPON, that is Association of the Dance Scholars, Dance Guild of Nigeria, and all the art council, to start documenting all these dances, the origin, the essence, the technicality, and for people to come back and read, so that it can be documented for good people and for people to know the real thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Steve James. He's spoken for 9 minutes. Interesting. Please, let's give him another round of applause. I tell you something that a lot of work must have gone into that research. Sometimes you do some kind of research for 5, 10 years. And when you're asked to speak about it, you only talk about it within 5, 10, 15 minutes. Please let us encourage ourselves because a lot of work go into this, into our research. Mr. Steve has said a lot of things about dance. It has directed my own mind, for instance, to questioning our sense of originality, African originality in dance. Now, another thing that he mentioned that actually got me thinking is talking about the commonalities of dance commonalities. Every time we see dance, I mean, you go online and you find some kind of dance, you're not even concerned about the originator of that dance. You just pick the dance and you start doing a lot of things with the dance. Sometimes we say that we're contemporaneizing the movement. So we do a lot of bastardization to different dances at our own expense. Sometimes we don't even know the extent of damage done to some of these dances. And I mean, it's a good thing that we're having this conversation around dance virality. And we're not just looking at African dances. We're not just looking at African traditional dances. We're also looking at some contemporary dance. We're looking at those new contemporary forms, for instance. Anyway, we will talk more about that. Thank you so much, Mr. Stevens. So keep your questions. Let's have all the 4 presenters and then we can bombard them with questions. Our second presenter, Mr. Steve was the second presenter. Our third presenter will be Mr. Lijam, and he's staring at us right there. It's my brother in Christ. I already said that this is going to be a family presentation because the dance world is one family, right? Yes, thank you. Mr. Lijam earned a BA and MA in Theatre and Media Arts from the Federal University of Lafayette. He has over 25 years of experience. Lijam is a practicing theater artist and a staff member of the award-winning Nasarawa State Performing Troupe. He is a former director of special duties for the Guild of Nigerian Dancers, GOND. Currently, he serves as the secretary of the Radio, Television, and Arts Workers Union, RATAU, Arts Council chapter, and is the secretary of the Guild of Theatre Art Drummers, GOTHAD. Is also a very big man, if you ask me. Lijam has traveled extensively and is happily married with 2 beautiful daughters. Distinguished panelists, and let's just give him a welcome. One welcome, please. Mr. Lijam.
All right. Yes, good evening, Doctor. Chair, I want to appreciate platform that I've been given to do a little, I know. Good evening, Dr. Oluwatoyin, and the member of the panelists. I want to extend my greetings to everybody there. My name is Lijam Tese Lijam, as rightly said, and I'm going to be presenting a paper titled The Intersection of Technology, African Dance, and Popular Culture. Well, in this context, I will be looking at dance from the African perspective. Our dance is deeply woven in our social fabrics of Africa and serves complex purposes. You know, African dances are expression of communal values, identity, social relationship, and recreation. Now, the major objective of my work, of this paper, is to highlight the dynamics interplay between modern technologies, traditional African dance, and their influence on global popular culture. Hello?
We can hear you clearly.
African culture. And to explore how artists or choreographers are now using artificial intelligent choreographic tools as an entryway into a broader intersection of dance and technology. The idea is that I want to accept the fact that technology has done profoundly great impact on dance, transforming the way dancers perform, create, or share art. It's acceptable. The widespread adoption of technological tools has made dance now across the broad. Like I'm a team man. Today, any part of the world, we can look at Swange and know Swange is it's a team dance by the virtue of the advancement of technology. But my fear is the choreographers that apply are rather trying to look at AI and choreographic tools as the basics for them to choreograph dances. I don't understand the problem. Ultimately, as in the case with other kind of art, the extent of technological use in bringing those dances to life, the fusion of contemporary African dances to contemporary dances that have given rise to different dance forms and styles is applaudable. But then I'm trying to look at two basic things here. African dances first are a reflection of the society they come from. African dances are expression of values, identities. Now, if this human choreographers are now being replaced by traditional choreographic tools or methods are now being replaced by AI choreographic tools. And now trying to look at, it's good that can aid choreography, that can aid overall aesthetics of dance formations and all of that. But then, is that not killing the essence of dance, or rather killing the originality or the essence of African dance in the context of dance, or how dance is felt in Africa? So my own point here is that, however, the tools are constrained to me because they are input, and those tools are human. They input them, and then you use them to choreograph dances, and then dances are beginning to lose. Now, gradually, these technological tools are replacing human artistic expressions. And so my fear is how we added, before now, shortly up before now, can we have our dances or African dances still hold the values, still hold that reflection of the societies they come from? That's my fear. And then that again, to me, I feel strongly that if human dancers are being replaced by artificial tools or artificial elements in terms of dance, that again can displace an artist. I'm from an art council background, and if that continues, I don't think tomorrow I may have a job. So again, when you come from an art council background, you know very well that you do dances that are original or are indigenous to the state. How will I feel tomorrow that an Alago dance is somewhat, sorry to use the word, bastardized and trying to use? I'm not saying that is completely bad, but it's losing it. Then secondly, this is the second phase of it. I feel strongly that dances that are done by human dancers and choreographed by traditional methods of choreography or choreographic standards will appeal more to the audience. We still hold the value it holds. But once these things are becoming too much of that, it will now kill the essence of study, because today choreography is a study in school, choreography is a profession. And so I'm on the take that in the context of choreography, choreographers should consider embracing those tools as collaborators rather than replacements of human artistic or cultural expertise. And then again, if we must apply them to an African situation so that it will hold the values that we have as regards our dances, the reflection to our society. Why not? Why not, rather to mitigate the risk that I am trying to talk about here now? Why not? It's crucial to see that even in the development and deployment of those technological tools, why not engage an African dance expert, a social practitioner, a cultural expert in the development of these same tools, so that by the time that will ensure when those dances, input will be made in such a way that we don't lose our dances in such evolution of dances, in such technological development of dances, or in such a speedy way of trying to transform dance. So my own is this: the integration of technology in African dance and popular culture. Dance has, in African dance itself, it has a lot to do in terms of it's an offshoot, rather. It has a lot to do with a popular culture, because it's the same way of trying to, because in Nigeria today, you look at our modern, our contemporary dances, so to say, it's a fusion of traditional dances into modern dances. Some now has given it and try to contemporary dance styles, but it's good. But then I'm saying my submission here is, if we continue to allow too much technology or those elements, those tools to dwell more or do too much on how our dances are being choreographed, are being packaged, and then giving out to the developing societies to work, or rather the outside world. We'd rather be killing the originality of our dances and then be sending people off their job as choreographers.
That's the effects of technology.
As a backup, use those tools to enhance their better way of learning how to put dance, package dances, but you still understand that they have limitations and replacing have limitations, because the essence is for choreographers to remain firmly rooted in the tradition they seek to portray. The dance you want to portray, make sure that you maintain that, you can remain focused on it. I think this will help a lot in mitigating the risk that these tools are having on our dance, on our culture, especially the dancer. Thank you very much.
Let's give him a round of applause. Another interesting perspective to the study of African dance virality. Now, again, he has emphasized on a lot of things. First and foremost, the African communal living experience and essence seem to be lost sometimes when we think about African dance virality, especially when they take African dance to the global space. So a lot of questioning are going on. My question is, do we really lose the originality? Because he has talked about the originality of dance again, going into extinction through the use of this artificial intelligence, right? We will have some questions for you at the end of the presentation. Please stay online.
Yes, yes, Doctor.
Let's take the third presenter. Please don't go anywhere. We will have some questions for you. Thank you. Third presenter, I don't know whether the first presenter is here now. He is not, I can't see him online. Hold on.
Said he's struggling to connect. He's saying that there's something does not allow me.
Oh, God.
To let him.
You're supposed to let somebody in. It's been waiting online. Jude Ikeji. Is it the Alex? Is it Alex?
Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe he might not spread this other.
Is the person?
Should not advise
Your presenter.
It's online. Yes, it's using my link.
Okay, so it's online. Have you seen the person? Prof, welcome, Mass. Good afternoon, ma'am. Very fine, Mass. Yes, ma'am. Okay, while we wait for that other presenter, I think we should go to the next presenter. And this presenter is Oluwatosin.
Odunlami Oluwasegun and
Odunlami Olusegun. So our next presentation will be taken by Odunlami Oluwasegun and Oluwatosin Ogunlariwo. The title of the presentation is Traditional African Dance and National Integration. Welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. Kindly unmute and speak, sir. We are waiting for you, sir.
Okay, I think that's all.
okay.
We can't hear you, yes. We can't hear you.
No audio.
No audio. We can't hear you, sir.
See, doctor.
Mr. Ojulami, we can't hear you. Can you hear us? We still can't hear you.
Just give me. What is your it is my wife. Chairman. He said he has been online. He had my India. Infinix.
Infinix. Can you please add Infinix?
My wife. He said he has been hearing us. He heard everything. He's seeing us, but we are not seeing
Okay,
him.
great. That's good. Mr. Ojulami, can you still hear us?
He can hear.
But we can't hear you, unfortunately. I'm so sorry.
That's it. That's special.
Please add in. Declining to be.
Okay.
It's not away, so let you go there.
Can you hear us, Mr. Ojulami?
You can.
Why can't we hear you now? I don't know.
Serious.
We can't hear you at all.
Say your body. Say Infinix 5.
Yes.
Smart 5. His name.
Yes.
EKG, Jude.
Is it there now?
Okay, maybe you should answer the second.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Praise the Lord. We can hear you now.
Thank you, ma.
Oh, I'm so sorry that you have to go through that. I'm so sorry.
Yes, ma.
Thank you now.
Good afternoon, ma. And class. The title of our paper is Traditional African Dance as Communication Tool for National Integration. And this paper is trying to examine Bata dance in particular. As we all know, Bata dance is one of the dances that has been traditionally formulated in the olden days. And people who are not very agile cannot dance to the tune of Bata as a genre of dance. Now, Bata dance emanated from the genre of Egualares. In those days, the masquerade will go from one place to another for performance. Hello, can you hear me? They go from one place to another to perform, and people, whenever the masquerades are dancing, the Bata drummers will now be beating drum for them. Now, these drums are meant to do what? To keep the body, the soul, and the mind of the people alive whenever they are watching the dancers. Now, this study then therefore try to examine the following problems. One, the Bata dance as one of the dances in Nigeria as a study has been on for so many years, but up to today, so many people are not exploring the importance of this dance. Also, there's lack of communication channels across Nigeria's diverse ethnic groups. So, viewing Bata as one of the prominent dances in Nigeria. And thirdly, the problem of social tensions and conflicts arising from ethnic and cultural differences. Don't forget that Bata dance emanated from the Shango lineage. Now, majorly, the Yorubas are known to be those normally beat to this drum. Also, the studies are now trying to examine the following objectives. One, to analyze the communicative properties of traditional African dance in cultural narratives and social values across different ethnic groups in Nigeria. Two, to evaluate the role of African dance in fostering a sense of cultural identity and community among Nigerian ethnic groups. Three, to investigate the potential of traditional African dance as a tool for promoting social cohesion and reducing ethnic tensions in Nigeria. And four, to assess the effectiveness of traditional dance in facilitating ethnic interaction and cooperation within national integration. Now, what is traditional African dance? Traditional African dance is a dance that is meant for people of Africa locally. Now, this dance captured the batas, the bedus, the gongons, and people normally focus on this dance for their own selfish satisfaction. Hello, for their own satisfaction. And this dance normally comes up whenever there are traditional festivals. Now, bata as a dance has been in existence for so many years. Now, we want to examine how you can use bata dance for national integration. People in the northern part, they also beat bata drum, but how do they dance it? Their own way of dancing is different from that of Yoruba people. Likewise, if you go to the Midwest, the Edo, the Delta, they also beat bata drum, but how do they dance it? If you see a typical Yoruba man dancing bata, you know that such a person must be very agile. Somebody who is very sick, who is not agile, cannot dance to bata dance. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Now, this study is anchored on symbolic interactionism theory, propounded by George Herbert Mead in 1934. The theory posits that people create and interpret symbols within social interactions in which they shape their realities and behavior. This theory is relevant to this study as it helps to explain how traditional African dance, particularly bata dance, serve as a communicative tool for national integration. Now, this study adopted a qualitative and quantitative method involving the survey, interview, and personal observation of the researchers. And the focus of the study is Ibadan North East local government area, which comprises of 5 districts: the Diakwe, Oritabashorun, Yaganku, Jare, and Iwo Road, and others. Now, findings of the research shows that that traditional African dance, particularly bata dance, plays a grand role in conveying cultural narratives. Also, the role of bata dance in fostering cultural identity and community. Also, findings also indicate that bata dance is highly effective, especially for our well-being, for our physical development. Because as I said earlier on, that if you're not agile, if you're not healthy, you cannot do bata dance. In fact, people who are very sick, if you ask them to do that bata dance, they be ill and healthy. Also, bata dance also facilitates interactions among different ethnic groups. Also, the findings reveal that bata dance influence social interactions, enhance their cultural identity, and facilitate unity among different cultural entities. However, this study also underscored the role of traditional dance, particularly bata dance, in conveying cultural narratives and social value, fostering a sense of cultural identity and community, promoting social cohesion, and reduce different ethnic tensions among different Nigerian ethnic groups. The study therefore recommends that traditional African dance, like bata, should be integrated into national cultural policies and promoted through cultural events and educational programs. Also, community leaders should frequently host bata dance events to strengthen unity and interaction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A very strong presenter. I can see you're very passionate about your paper, and I like that very much. Again, you have told us a lot of things. You have talked about the significance and significations of bata dance at different levels. And I want to say thank you for contributing this paper to knowledge, particularly this panel. Thank you very much. We will take our last presenter. Was supposed to be the first presenter. Let's not be too much in a hurry. We're still going to dance. This is our dance panel. We will dance. Oh, exactly. Prof is here to dance. We will not be speaking too much English. We're going to dance here. Interesting. So we will take our very first presenter, who happens to be the fourth presenter and our last presenter for tonight. His name is Mr. Jude Ikeji. Mr. Jude, are you there? Mr. Jude, are you there now?
Okay.
Is he on now?
Yes.
Mr. Jude, we can't see you. We can't hear your voice. Oh, praise the Lord, he's finally here. Mr. Jude. Mr. Ikeju. Mr. Ikeji. Yes, I think it's online. Hello, Mr. Ikeji, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Fantastic, clearly. We want to welcome you to our panel, and we want to appreciate you for finding time to connect.
Thank you very much.
I'll quickly read your bio. Mr. Jude Ikeji has a certificate in education in Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, a BA in a Bachelor of Arts in Theatre and Performing Arts, and Master's degree from the Federal University of Latvia. He's a total theatre practitioner and has specialized skills in dance, African drums, and music. He has worked with many theatre and dance companies, amongst which are Tropicana African Company, Polka Entertainment, Cambia Performing Troupe, African Heritage, and Ivory Ambassadors. Mr. Jude Ikeji will be speaking on the paper titled African Identities, Conflict of Institutional Reform and Identity Reconstruction. Welcome on board, Mr. Jude.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Please permit me to stand on existing protocols. My name is Jude Azubike Ikeji, Federal University, Latvia. And I would like, I'll be speaking on the paper titled African Identities, Conflict of Institutional Reform and Identity Reconstruction. This paper tries to look at what has been done so far in trying to keep the African culture and identity, in spite of all the attack, which most of them are institutionally based. And these attacks are Eurocentric, so to speak. So, and the objectives of this paper is, one, to identify how African culture has evolved through history. Two, identify the modus operandi of African cultural institutions, how they operate in the midst of uncertainty. And the last objective is to explore the use of dance as a tool for documentation and cultural/identity evolution. Now, if we look at this topic, it centers on two things essentially: culture and identity. And I want us to understand one fact, that when I use culture and culture on one hand and identity on the other hand, at times I use them interchangeably and at times I use them differently. The reason is that both are similar and they have their point of convergence and divergence. Convergence in the sense that you cannot talk about identity without talking about the cultural input of the people. In fact, culture is the main, is foundational in creating a people's identity. But where there is a divergence is that culture can evolve, but identity can never. It's difficult. Let me say can never. It's difficult for identity to kind of evolve because nations, ethnicities do what they can do to keep their identity, to make sure their identity survive through thick and thin. Now, the first thing is, when we look at identity, what is identity? Identity does not really talk about the cultural aspect. It talks about our everyday life. The everyday life of a man and how he does his things makes him distinct from every other human being. I don't know if I'm being heard.
We can hear you. Please proceed.
So identity is everything that makes up a man. Culture being just a part of it. Now, Africa as we are, be it Africa or Africans, we have passed through so many things to make sure that we keep the existence and survival of our identity. However, there are aggressions, external factors, external aggressions that have continually fought, have continually put in efforts to make sure to either try and change our culture, knowing fully well that if they succeed in changing the culture of the African man, then they will definitely succeed in tampering with the identity of the African man. This is evident in colonialism and imperialism, as Africans have witnessed it all through history. And there are histories of civilizations that have come and gone because they could not fight to keep their existence. They could not fight to keep their identity as a people. But Africa has tried all through history to keep it, and they are still there. Now, in trying to change the culture and identity of Africa, the first thing that comes into plan, I'm talking of the Eurocentric view now. What they believe at first is that if they could attack the institutional framework of Africa, and when I say institutional framework, I'm talking of the cultural and traditional institutions as laid down in Africa. These institutions are in charge of making sure that we adhere to our cultural values. So the Eurocentric view is that once these cultural institutions are attacked, then it renders Africa as a whole dormant. And by that, Africa will have no other option to now look. And that is when they can only introduce their own alien cultures into Africa. But one thing they refuse to understand is that Africa has an unwritten way of tending to these issues as they come. Now, when these institutions of Africa are attacked, the youth which make up the majority of the society come to the rescue, because as at that time, the authority that is placed on the African institution is not transferred to the youth. So the youth now, as at that time, they are no longer looking at the culture they were practicing and the identity they have as before the attack. They phantom a way to make sure that their existence first is the paramount thing they look into. And in doing this, the culture they have begin to evolve. Their identity begin to evolve. And over time, this cultural aspect which has evolved, over time when it's put into practice, become a culture of a new culture that they have set for themselves. Now, the good thing in it is that this evolution of culture, which they have they have embraced for themselves is not determined by the factors of the external aggressors, but it is an agreement by the society itself, by the African mindset. And these things are felt in our various dances. This is where dance comes in. Now, dance come in as a way to now document those historical perspectives. That is where we can have, one of the examples I can set is before the apartheid in South Africa, the dance called Zulu dance was not in existence, but they saw it as a way to motivate themselves. They used that as a way to motivate themselves, using culture as a rallying point to fight apartheid. And at the end of the day, after that, the Zulu war dance became a culture that is being practiced up till today. Apart from these, there are other examples that shows that dance has been used, one, to document his society, the African society, into taking actions that ensures their existence and survival. The implication of this is that resigning to fate
Are you there? His network. Mr. Ikeji. Let's just give him some minutes, please. Yes, he still has more time. I'm checking here. Are you there? Perhaps we've lost Mr. Ikeji. His connection is.
Resigning to fate has never been
Mr. Ikeji, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, please go on. You have few minutes left. Thank you.
Sorry, I don't know. Oh, I went off. I don't know.
Yes.
I have already finished here, but you can bring me up to speed where I actually stopped so that I can go on.
Okay, I mean, it's okay if you can actually stop here.
I never knew that I went offline.
Don't worry, we'll talk after this time. We'll start with questions, and I'm sure they'll direct some questions to you. But you know, while he was talking, something came to my mind. It's just like saying that you're juxtaposing T.S. Eliot's definition of culture as the totality of the living experience of human. And then that other part that says that change is the only constant thing. Whether we like it or not, Africa will change at some point, whether we have had encounters with these colonial masters or not. Things will change. Our dances are a reflection of our cultural activities, our cultural life, our living experiences, and all that. So whether we like it or not, our dances will change with time. So let us stop thinking that, oh, colonial influences and so on and so forth seem to have changed all our dances. I don't subscribe to that in any way. They may have some kind of effect, and they may just be pushing us to rethinking our culture, to rethinking certain aspects of our culture, not to the point of saying that we have stopped dancing or we have stopped propagating African dance the way it should be because of these colonial influences. All right, let us throw this, our papers. Let us deliberate and ask questions. A round of applause. A round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, let's ask questions. Let's have Max. I took the comments already. No, I want, you have the comments. Okay, mommy will be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. Let's have the 5 of them first, and then we can entertain more questions.
Sorry, I came in late. I want to thank the presenters. But what I expected from this group was to see every presenter being with the dance or dance group or dance steps, because that is the purpose of this African dance virality.
Yes, ma'am.
So I was expecting to enjoy, to see and listen to different, especially the Baba. Some of us that are not from the West, we don't know what is that. So I've been trying to pick the particular point, why the West presents the temple.
Thank you, ma'am. We did not see dance. Next time, let us see dance, especially because we're talking about African dance variety. We want to see how dance has changed, how selected dance. Just like you mentioned, Bata dance. Are people now dancing Bata in other parts of the world as a result of our technological advancement? What are the changes that may have occurred over the years as a result of people's colleagues reading about Bata in Gombe State, in Florida, in India? These people doing dance, doing African dance, any African dance, let's think of Bata dance. I think we created the steps in Bata dance. And the originality we already talked about, are we losing them as a result of these technological advancements? Thank you very much. Let's have the second question now. Question.
Good afternoon.
For your observation.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Odunayo Odunayo, and I think I will have to start from the chair. You said that at some point African culture, African things we have to change. I agree, but is it not possible that while we are changing, we retain our originality, our original things?
Sure.
And the next set of questions will go to Dr. Steve. Yes. You said Dundu is a talking drum, and I'm wondering, is it only Dundu that talks? And this next question has been on my mind for like 2 years. Do Western drums, such as jazz and others, I don't know them, I don't care about them. Do they talk at all? Do they communicate? And my last set of questions go to Mr. or Dr. Lijam. I don't care. African dances are. I'm quoting you. Now I put it there that original. Sorry, you did say originality of dance before AI emerged. I mean, originality of African dance has been lost before AI emerged. I think ever before then, AI, they call it artificial intelligence. Yes, it's a recent thing, it's a recent development. Ever before now, Africa has lost many things. Like I will be presenting something on Sakara on Saturday. So during my research, I discovered that Sakara has lost its original dance as far back as 1975, when one of the earliest practitioners, a Lagos Islanders, where they claim Sakara emerged from, introduced unconventional drums into Sakara, such as Gongo. So I think for Sakara dance, we started losing original Sakara dance since then or from then.
So you said you just answered your question. You threw a question to me. And then you ended up answering when attempting to answer that same question. Because we talk about dances, not just going into a section like African dances would at some point change, whether or not on their own, whether there's been some kind of contact with the outer force or not. And they will gradually change.
That's why I said, can't we have our original things side by side with the new things?
It's just that people have different ideologies. And for every cultural practice that come in contact with different ideologies, something must happen naturally. It's just a natural process. You can't change some things. But thank you so much for that question. Let's have the third person. Yes. Yeah, number 3. Yeah.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Funke Awodia. I'm not a dancer. I'm not even sure I can dance to save my life. But I'm a sociologist, and I'm interested in how the society influences dance and how dance in turn influences the society. And my question is for the first presenter, when he was talking about how we lose some of the original dance steps and stuff like that. And I can see the discussion is still moving around that. So as a sociologist, this is my question. How do society, a group of people really influence dance till we evolve and have new dances? And when we have these new dances, like you have said, fusion, are we going to say, because they have changed, there are no more African dances? That's my question. Because I've seen a lot of things happen in hip hop where some people will say, oh, this is how we started. And the new hip hop that we have still maintains part of the whole, what we have as maybe from Juju or from wherever. How do we explain these changes? And these changes, how do they affect us on the other side as people? How does it influence the way we relate to dance and dancers?
Okay, let's take one more contribution and then the
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I am Victor Taiwo by name. I want to say that there is no doubt about it. When you talk about the culture, it's a prism that gets the people within a particular place to be connected to the world and to get connected with. No doubt about that. And that brings to what Prof was saying before concerning the issue of some of the development. So in this part of the world today, we can now see that the world itself is evolving, it's moving, and there is no way we cannot move without we can't be behind without moving with it. We just need to move with it. Now, that is for that. Secondly, I want to, the second speaker, the man has spoke about the issue of AI, artificial intelligence. Yes, you cannot do away with that, and that is why the theory we call it social determinism, which means the society, like you rightly said, the society is controlling what is determined by what the technology is all about today. And the same way, technology itself determines and controls the society. So you cannot separate the two in that order. The third one is for the man that spoke about issue of Bata. I think I'm right. Yes, that man. Yeah, I just want to talk about your methodology, please. You made mention of you using a qualitative. Yes, you now mentioned survey. And I was not wondering that will survey fit into that? I wouldn't know the kind of the instrument, the one you intend to use, the survey, the type of survey you intend to use. I wouldn't know, but I think you need to look into that. In which because when you look at your population with which you are picking, you picked about 5. Okay, now does it mean that you are using a convenient sampling or whatever to pick the population or what? I wouldn't know. What you need to look into that and try to make something good out of it. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Just call me Steve. If doctor is not coming, master is not coming, just call me Steve. I want to say, first and foremost, Dundu, as we know, all I talked about is that we are losing the technicality of it, the essence of Dundu. Dundu is not the only talking drum. Bata talks, but Bata stammers. Yes. So, yes. Stammers. Okay. That's why he has 3 steps. The first one, the Yalu, cannot say a word without the second one. And the third one is the one that even speaks louder, which is Omele Bata. Then Gudu Gudu just back everything up. But Dundu speaks without any accompaniment. Just, if you ask me, or jazz drum, or every other drum that is not African, most of the African drums speaks. If you carry djembe, I want to talk with djembe, you can still talk with djembe. But the only, I can't say only, the most popular one in Africa for now is the Dundun that speaks, that people know for sure that he speaks. He can do national anthem. He talks. Like yesterday, we watched a documentary where barista player said, Adeoju said, there's one proverb he said that they not change. If for those people who understand the language, who understand the dialect,
When you talk about law.
law.
You remember that one?
So you understand me? Then our Sheti Babamo, so and so. Oh, our Sheti Babamo. But one thing, for those people who don't understand dialect, that's Yoruba. Even those people who understand Yoruba, that doesn't understand the language of that drum, will not understand.
Yeah, sure.
Then there's a way they play that drum to talk. For the people who are not initiated, you just hold the drum and begin to hit drum. We call them beaters. We call those people who play the drum drummers. That's why they call them Ayon.
Yeah.
So if you are not, if you are playing that drum, that you are not Ayon, they'll tell you Ayon Rojuno. Ayon Tojuno. That means you are just jumping into what you don't know. Understand me? So all drums talk. It depends on what we want to say with drum. But the most efficient one that speaks very well in Africa, probably in Yoruba land, is the talking drum.
Thank you, Dr. James. Let's have other presenters respond.
All right. Yes, Doc. And sorry, I want to respond to two questions. One was a question, one was more of a contribution, but I want to see clearly. Originality of dance, or rather African dance, like he said, we've lost it over time. But then, before AI emerged, because it's almost quite a new advancement in technology. But again, I'm saying I'm of the school of thought that if that we know that we've lost this, what are we doing to regain what is ours? What I'm saying is that it is now the time for us to begin to understand that dance should be one of those tools we use to regain to our identity. Let me borrow from what the other speaker said. We should, the intent of the Western world is to use all this technological advancement to completely redefine us. So for us to redefine ourselves through dance, we should be able to say, look, let us, as choreographers or as the next generation, to hold tight to what is ours by trying to use that to help us grow in our professionalism. That's, I said before, that choreography is a field of study. But then we should understand that that has helped us in advancing what in terms of knowledge, but we should maintain the fact that we are the ones to keep our identity. We are the ones to keep our values. And through dance, through maintaining the originality of dance, we will not keep it. That again will help us to be better inform who we are to the Western world. Again, the other speaker said that, yes, I'm not saying we can do without technology. I didn't say that. I only said that even choreographers should not abandon the traditional method of choreography. They should rather embrace AI as a collaborative force and not to replace it totally with the traditional method of choreography. That's what I'm just saying. Because if we're doing that completely, we are going to lose our identity and lose it completely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ikeji, do you have a response?
Yes. My response is to what you said earlier. African dance will definitely change. Yes, I totally agree with you that African dance at one point or the other, as long as we come in contact with both internal wrangling and external factors, it definitely changes. But what I am saying, and that is the main fulcrum of this paper, is that those changes must be determined by Africans. It must be determined by Africans, not by those external forces that end up attacking its institutions in order to reform those institutions through the back door. When those changes come, it must be changes that are a a product of the people and accepted by the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I like that perspective. It means that we all have a role to play in our own different fields, because technology is not just affecting African dances, it is affecting every aspect. So the onus is on us to define our terms. Whatever it takes, you just have to be in the game. Do not say that because technology is affecting African dances, so you're just going to pull back. And no, this is the time for you to come out and assert yourself in your different fields. That is my take. And then I am optimistic for the fact that there's going to be a resurgence of African dance. It has started already. Look at fabric, for instance. For a very long time, people stopped wearing African fabric. People stopped wearing all of this, wearing jeans, you know. But now, these days, a lot of people want to wear direct. They want to wear Kampala. They want to wear show, you know. Go to our parties. Go to our, what's it called, Owambe parties. You'll be amazed at the level of resurgence of different African fabric. It's happening in dance already. It's already happening. And it's going to take the bigger stage at some point. I am glad that Africans are not just the ones doing African dances anymore. People from India are now dancing Bata dance. And if you're not careful, they will dance it. And also, well, I should bother about originality. I should bother about commonality. I should bother about who created those dances in the first place. Who created people? Do we ever ask ourselves those questions? Who created people? Let us attempt some other questions before we go to other. Doc, you have a question too.
Good evening. My name is Seth, and I think I want to start by saying that most of the visitors are the list. They are usually very passionate about this course. The issue of dance has been very emotional. One, we have always maintained that we should not lose our personality. Always maintain that we must keep our roots. That with my worries in this globalized world, is it possible to have and maintain same personality? And I think the answer is what is, and what I always get is, we must have to flow with the trend. And how do you flow with the trend? You know the nationality, you know the new things that are added. I think the point is having a balance, knowing that this is a new way that that is the issue of busy. How that was until you got to get this. It is somehow generational. You know, people keep coming and people keep, you know, developing, adding one or two things. So there's no way, like she said in the first, like you mentioned, these dances must still change, even if the white man is not. It's as simple as that. Because once people are born, people die, others take over, and there must be mutation. There must be change. So the point is, we should not look at it from the point that we are losing it because there's this tendency of the white man coming because one program or one. I think the point is, even if they have given us this, we must also find our own. The Chinese, the Chinese people are already doing it. I don't think they speak English in China. It is sparingly. They have maintained that. It's not that because they have not traveled to America or they have not traveled to London or other parts of the world. They have maintained that, okay, this is our identity. We want to keep this. Does not change anything from it. Okay? Let me tell you what happened when I was in Lagos. The same energies, the same emotion that I had was what I had when I came to Lagos as a dancer. When I got there, somebody were calling me in NCAC, because that's why they have a private. I was national team of Nigeria. So you are free to come and teach them fresh dance. Someone, the village man, if you had just come from the village, you have had it raw, how it is in the village. So they were asking me to teach them that. Because of what I had already seen in Lagos, that they had killed the dances that I had seen, I refused to go to NCS to release any dances there. Even when I taught national team, it still went up. They are, adulterated now. You need to see a club perform or see a person perform. They have changed them. But what satisfies us now is that the costume and some of the movements that you see, say, okay, this is this dance. So that is how I think it is still going to be. There's no way you can change it. And let's not always dwell on the issue of condemning the West, that they are the ones who are dealing with us. No, we are dealing with ourselves. That's what I think. And the moment we define ourselves, like use the word, that's the best thing for us. For me, we are our problems, not the man who's coming to help us. AI, as we have said, cannot go. It has. They are going to build another one. AI. So the point is, you must have to flow with the trend, adjust to what is coming. So don't look at it as if this one comes now, we will lose our job. People are losing their job in America. Or we just say age of robotics, people are losing their jobs. So we don't look at it from we might lose our job if these guys come with this program. So it is what it is. Thank you so much.
Thank you, boss. Any other comment, contribution? Madam.
Good afternoon, everyone. I found all the contributions stimulating. My name is Susan, and I'm a costume designer actually, and I also am into African performances. I want to corroborate what the last speaker said, that we should not always blame everything on the West. Look at the issue of language. Now, most of our children cannot speak their mother tongue. Is it the fault of the Westerners? It is our own fault because we are actually the ones killing our culture. When I teach my students festivals and I ask them, give me, one indigenous festival from your community. Some of them don't even know where they are from because their parents are afraid of one witch or wizard somewhere in the village, so they don't even know their roots. Is it those kind of people that will speak their mother tongue, let alone learn their indigenous dances, part of which is Bata dance? Our people here will rather teach their students ballet and all these contemporary dances. You see many of them, there is this leg work that they do now. I went to judge one competition and almost all the students in that school, they came and they were doing this leg work thing. And there was none of them that performed any form of indigenous dances. Please, who is at fault? So I'm not in the dance guild. I don't know if this is the body of dance guild. I think one of the recommendations of all the panels is that the speakers should be that this culture, our indigenous dance culture, there's a dearth of it, because we are not teaching the next generation. They would rather learn the hip hop and the Western dance cultures, because even parents see these dances and these performances as pure, and they feel that being able to do them, it amounts to being local or being like backward or something, as if you are not civilized. Yes, those are, I expect that, or I'm recommending that that should be one of your strong recommendations, because we keep blaming the West, whereas we are the ones hanging our very linen on the Westerners' clotheslines. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that contribution. Thank you so much for the contribution. We have a few minutes. Okay, let's have my lady and then we'll have you. Another question. Yeah. Comment. Very healthy comments. Very healthy.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the eye-opening and insightful delivery. My name is Olawale Abiola from Anchor University. Now, talking about artificial intelligence, because that's really what I just needed to say it. We as Africans, talking about our culture, which of course our dance is also included. I think as scholars, we need to make our voice heard in that aspect. Artificial intelligence doesn't operate in isolation.
Yes.
It is what has been given to it. That is what is given back to us.
Yes.
So we as scholars, what part are we making? One, to embrace AI. Two, to also make sure that part of our dance history is also documented in AI. I'm saying this because recently there is this young girl, 70 years old, by name Jolita. You can Google her. 70 years old. She was signed up by the Chinese company as African AI. Well, how did she start? She started by doing like a robot in the African way. And eventually she has been brought into life like they really signed out one to full purpose African AI. After she had over how many millions? They gave her a car and all. So if she's making an impact, not that like the Europeans can see that, oh, this is a part of African culture, we can document using an AI. What are we also doing? I look forward to when somebody can just put it where okay, I want a replica of an African one day. And we have our head there, we have our clothing, as it is, preserved there. So I think it's right time as scholars, we also leverage on it. We shouldn't just see it as totally bad. We have something, it can serve us. It is what we give to it, that it will give back to us. Or else, it will become completely lost in that, on that platform. Thank you.
So thank you from what you just said. I think that many of us are also very lazy. You're writing, you have not the mistake of that. And then all you have done for yourself is to go online. That's all you're doing. You're not putting on for your stage. You know,
Okay,
your research.
yeah. Armchair research. Yes, it was armchair.
Yes, like armchair.
Yeah. Doing Basaka, you're going to standard of Basaka. And the interesting thing is that you're going to document it. A lot of people will become that same document.
And read it and recycle it.
This is Basaka. They don't Basaka. A lot of researchers are very, very lazy. We need to be more focused. We need to do a lot of work so that I can dance and maintain that. I'll take one more minute. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Awele Katrina Adepe from the University of Lagos and the National Theatre. And, I'm also a dance practitioner. And just like the last speaker said, it's very important for us to see into technology, because from the documentary we watched yesterday, I could see the archives, how the people who are in journalism, written journalism, how they've been able to document so many histories. And so if you need information, you can walk into these archives and get them. But where do we get these archives for dance? Or even our culture? They are barely there. Even when we come to the things we have written, we can barely find this documentation. I was trying to do research some time ago, and they insisted that the Nigerian university system says you must have a text for the dance. And most of what we have as librettos are not full dance texts. You can barely do much with them, especially if you want to do serious research. So I think that technology is actually a win for us, because in that way, we can be able to go back, do the proper research, find the proper histories. Where did it start from? Then go back there, document, just like we saw the documentary yesterday, document the history so that in future times, people who are in those eras can go back to find this information, so that even if we are going to do if we're going to go from the known dances to the unknown, we can still trace back our roots. Very important. Even down to our councils for arts and culture. I went to a particular state council for arts and culture to find a particular dance, to do research. They couldn't give me material. And they were even asking, please, when you are done, send your material to us. But for me, and then we also, with my interaction with one or two other choreographers, one blatantly told me, he said, look, Awele, we are the creatives, we are the dancers. It is not our work to document ourselves. It is for you, the academics, to document us. And so this is where dance dramaturgy comes in. Because a lot of dancers just go ahead and do anything they like. That's why they can afford to do dances that are not correct. But if they have a professional dance researcher who has gone through the works for them, then it makes it easier for them to then do the correct dances. So I believe that if we as researchers, like you have said, do our work well, then we will definitely have a very beneficial symbiotic relationship with the dance culture. Thank you
very much. Another thing with that funding is the art councils are telling you and I that they are not responsible for documenting the root dances, and they expect the academics to do that. And I think it's a problem solved. Because the question of funding comes in, am I supposed to fund myself? Anyway, the conversation about another day. Thank you so much. I have been blessed. I tell you, now going on with a lot of perspectives. Now this session is not over. We're going to have a second panel on Saturday at 3 p.m. Now please come with your dancing gear. That's not going to be dancing. Yes, so I don't really think so. But
Yeah, bye-bye.